Hey, it's James and Michael with the Crypto Guys. Should you buy Bitcoin right now or should you sell it? In today's video, we're going to look at every crash we've had in the last 45 years and what they tell us, as well as what are the average returns that you can make month by month if you make the right decisions now. So make sure you watch this video until the end because you don't want to miss this. And remember to drop us a like. And as a disclaimer, as always, this is not financial advice. Like any kind of investment, you need to do your own due diligence. So Michael, let's go back in time and talk a little bit about the history of crashes and what that means for us today.
Yeah, if we look at this is an interesting chart that I found today after doing some research, is that what would happen, like if you look, if you want to predict what's going to happen with Russia, right, and the dip that's going on right now, well, one of the ways to do that would be to go back and look at every single crash and say what happened when we had those crashes. And should I wait to buy? What happens if you wait a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months because you think you haven't found the bottom? Well, those are good questions, right? And so what we look at is the ROI based on the S&P 500. And so if you look at the 1 week after the crash, right, the bottom, you get an average of 3.6% return. Now, some of them were already in profit after 1 week, but one of them was not, right? One of them went down more. And that was I think that was the 911 here, right? So, but if you hold for 2 weeks, so the average is 3.0. If you hold for 1 month, it's go down, it's only 1.1. But here's where the interesting part is. If you bought and hold for 2 months, then the return starts to go up to 14.9. Now, let's talk about that because obviously 14.9% in crypto, because we're talking about S&P 500, right? So in crypto, that's going to be multiplied, a lot more. That could be 50, 60, maybe even 10x if you compare it with like crypto. So very important you understand that this is not a small amount when we look at it because, again, this is pretty good. And you wait 3 months, 18%, 6 months, 17.2%, 1 year, 19.1%. So the longer you held on to it, the more money you make. And you can kind of see that as well. It's kind of clear when you look at the crash and how long it took, right? Like from the time to go up. Some of them was very fast. Some of them were a little bit slower. Like the COVID was immediate, right? Like after the pandemic, 2020, it went all the way down and immediately rebounded. And this one is also kind of like that. That one took a little bit longer. It went down more. So you see, it's not perfect, but the point is that it does not take too long for Bitcoin or cryptos or the S&P 500 in this case to recover quite fast.
Interesting. I remember Black Monday. I was a college student back then, but I remember I had no idea what it really meant, but I remember it was in all the newspapers. Trading was so different then, though, because unless you were a trader yourself, no one else traded. We didn't have the internet back then. So now it's a completely different thing. Now everyone can invest on their phones. Anyone, your teenage child can invest and not only have stocks, but also invest in crypto.
No, I wasn't trading back then. So it was very like different, you had to call your broker, right, at that time. And then, it was none of it was like digital back then. So, all right, well, let's take a look at the chart though, see what's going on, because we have been kind of rejected again. So it's been a few times we've been rejected. Let's take a look at how many. One time here, and you could call that a rejection, I guess. Definite rejection here, another rejection here, and then so that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times we've been rejected from this resistant line here at 39,792. So we're on the way down, and we got support here. And the question is, are we going to go and get a lower low again? And are we going to break that? And if we break that, then are we going to start reaching the other kind of targets I had talked about previously? So to take a look at that, that is definitely a potential scenario. The more time that we get rejection at the 39, the less likely we're going to break through it. So it means that potentially we haven't found what the bottom is, right? So that's why some of the buy levels that I've put before you in the previous times has been as low as 30,700, because it's still possible, of course, that Bitcoin goes lower, right? That we get rejected and we go down and we get a lower low, or maybe it's 33.5, or maybe it's not, maybe it's 30.7. So of course, if you bought the bottom, what this chart is telling you is that you're going to make money even 2 weeks like later, or especially 2 months like later. But if you didn't buy the bottom and you bought it closer, then you will have to wait maybe a little bit longer than a month to make money. But probably at 2 months, 3 months, everybody's going to be in profit if they just held, right? Regardless if they bought the bottom or not. So all I can tell you is that would I buy at these prices? I wouldn't, but I did buy at the lower prices, and I'm still holding and hoping that we're going to break through. And if we're not, then my strategy, of course, would just be to wait until it goes back down and buy again, right? Which I've already done that, buying at the 34,007, and I've already sold it. And but I would be willing to buy it again, of course, at the same price, 34.7. And that's pretty much what I have for you today.
Well, so much of this depends on your strategy in terms of what you're doing. You know, obviously, somebody like you, Michael, you're in the markets every day, making trades. And then other people, they just want to, DCA. They just want to put money into Bitcoin as they get paid. And they might be asking those same questions. Should I buy? Is it going to go down more? If your strategy though is a
Right.
long-term plays and you don't plan on cashing out, then let's go back in history again. So if back on that chart that Michael showed you at the beginning with all these different crashes, I mean, pick any one of them, right? Like after 9/11, after COVID, of course, there was all this fear and uncertainty. But even during those times, people were asking the same questions. What's the market going to do right now? Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? But regardless of whether it went down or up that 10%, it's the long-term play that always went up. And so that's really the question you've got to ask yourself. A year from now, where do you think Bitcoin is going to be? Of course, nobody can predict that. But if Bitcoin is at 60,000 in 1 year, then did it matter whether you bought at 35 or 32? It doesn't matter as much, right? And so, as we've said often, when in doubt, zoom out. So again, it depends on your strategy. If you're trading every day, then for sure you want to be plugged into a channel like this, where we're giving you a great analysis of the charts. But if you plan on like, I know people who just don't sell their crypto, then again, take a look at the long play. What do you think Bitcoin is going to be in a year? And do you think these prices are good now? And let thinking like that guide you.
Yeah, I think in a 1 year we are gonna probably, from today, I think we will probably have hit the 100,000. So I think like that. That's my prediction. And this all depends on us holding at this price, right? I would think like that, but and a lot of people do. So of course, there's so much uncertainty, but that's why we try to buy the lower price, because there's less risk, and everything is about risk management. DCA is about risk management. Buying these levels that I'm showing you here is about risk management, right? And of course, like I said, just because I sold some here, as I told you before, I didn't sell everything. Some of them I may not sell at all. I would just hold it exactly like the chart is telling us. So it doesn't hurt people to start DCA and whatever price, at 39, it's fine. If it goes down, then you just buy more. That's what I would advise, right? Even if you're buying right now and you hope it's going to go up, great, then it might. If it doesn't, then just hold on, right? It might go down, it might go up, because we're going sideways. So sideways movement mean that we don't know what's going to happen. That's what it means, right? It either could go up, it could go down. That's a 50-50 based on this analysis of a sideways movement. So yeah, and if it goes up and you're not buying, then potentially it could go and start going up very fast, and then you're not in a trade, then that's going to be an important factor, of course. Yeah,
exactly. Excellent, Michael. As always, great to see your analysis. And If you like our content, please hit the like button, and we trust that you've already subscribed. If you haven't, make sure that you do. And hey, leave us a comment. We read all the comments and we'll respond to them as well.
All right. See you guys in the next video. Bye for
All right,
now.
everybody. See you tomorrow.